to go for OPG was the security that brought to our family. We wanted Taylor to have that security.
There's a little bit of time and a little bit of just focus and effort, but it's very worth the process and sometimes a little bit stressful, but there's no reason why you wouldn't still pursue it and still continually just, see it through.
I think the biggest stress along the way for it was that the department then needed to get back in contact with biological parents, and that was a bit unsettling. The social worker in that process was always very upfront with us. We didn't want things sugar-coated, and she was very honest with us about the journey and said, look, this is now going to take a couple of months because I need to actively pursue birth mum. So in that there was that stress, but nothing worth us saying, let's just not go there. And it ended up being in the best interest for Taylor. It actually resulted in him meeting her for an occasion, which he hadn't done since his removal. He's now got a photo with his birth mum that we otherwise wouldn't have had. We're very thankful that we have great support networks around that. We've got other people in the system that we can also talk through with. And I think if there's any advice from that, it would just be, don't let the stress throw you off the journey, but be realistic and be open to that it does take time.
He's getting older, he's going to be wanting to go sleep over at friends' houses and those things. As much as there is processes for them to happen anyway, it takes away all the extra process, and for us that going forward is good. And that means that just we can function as a family it's just a lot smoother. It takes a little bit of the stress away.
The day after court, when we then got the official documents saying we then had Taylor's guardianship, I actually raced into the office at school all excited because I was able to say, he's now ours, please change the school accounts, take Department of Child Protection out and put us in, which of course meant that I remember the receptionist kind of being somewhat shocked because she said, but now that means you have to pay all the bills. We were excited to take that ownership. It's those really what could be considered basic mundane jobs that we do as parents that we wanted to have for Taylor. We have a say in the school that he goes to and those different things that we're doing for him.
Quite a process then when you transition from a lot of stuff going through the department to then having to make sure that he's included in the rest of what you're doing is a bit of a journey. So once you get that court paper, it's great. You can then start the process. There's a few forms to fill out. There's a few bits and pieces to navigate, but it's actually not been as hard as I thought it would be. We've been able to get him shifted onto our Medicare card and just different random things that have actually gone well. And for us, it's now we're at the end of that journey. Basically, we've now got all the things checked off, and he's now just part of everything else. He's been with us long enough that he identifies us as his mum and dad. He knows he has other family, and some of which he knows, some of which he doesn't. And I know he will meet along the way as well. We'll make an effort to, some of them are interstate, go over and do holidays and do things where we can introduce him to people, but we can see that he identifies us as his parents, and which is great, and he should. We
wanted to have a really open conversation with all of the boys. So we've got two older biological sons. When Taylor then moved to his GOM 18 order, we explained to them that meant Taylor would be in our family right through growing up, and that was naturally something we celebrated. And we said on that day Taylor moved from being a foster child in our home to becoming their brother. It was really beautiful to see how they both really embraced that as well, and the term of brother was straight away then used in our home, and we didn't want Taylor referred to then as a foster child. I guess the beautiful evolution to that then when we did then move to OPG was we were able to say to the boys, this is now forever, and they naturally saw different social workers come into their home at least once a year for our reviews or for our home checks and different things. And we would talk to them about that, how they're needing to make sure Taylor's still safe.
The court process was actually really good. They did actually include our boys, our other boys in the process.
And it really was a day that we celebrated. We call it Forever Family Day. Just that natural progression of family is beautiful. We love that all three of our kids have a beautiful relationship with their grandparents, and we want to have the same with their kids.